Hi there, it's Lorraine, and I wanted to do a tarot reading today for the winter solstice. Whenever I do tarot readings, I typically do it for really significant events, and the winter solstice is one of the most significant events that we have throughout the year. During that period of time of the winter solstice, it is meant to be a returning of light. And from today onward, the nights are actually going to become shorter and shorter. So historically, when a tarot card reading is done, they're done on days that are really very significant. And on this occasion, I will be doing a Celtic card reading, a Celtic cross reading. So whenever I preparing to read my cards, I always take a few moments just to hold them and allow my energy to be imbued upon it as I set my intentions. So I'm just going to be doing that now. Setting my intentions for this reading to be providing us insight and guidance for the winter solstice. And I'm just going to take a few moments to shuffle the cards. And as I'm doing that, I'm continuing to think about my intentions that I'm setting, which is asking for guidance for the winter solstice for those that may be tuning in. And I'm always shuffling the cards and allowing my intuition to guide me, and just shuffling for as many times as it feels right to me. Being aware of any cards that may be wanting to pop out, wanting to be noticed. And asking for spirit to guide for the highest good. What do we need to know for the winter solstice? What guidance, what insight do we need to know here on this occasion of the winter solstice? I'm just cutting my cards, and every tarot reader reads a little bit differently. Just to be aware of that the layout, the numbers of the layout of the cross can be a little bit different depending on how the reader has learned or has been taught. So I have my cards here, and the first card that comes forward is the card that represents the present situation. I'm just going to, this is what lays beneath the situation. And the recent past. What's before us. And I always use two cards to clarify the outcome here. Now, at first glance, I can see that we have a lot of major arcana cards here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcana cards, which shows that this is a really very significant time. Which, really relates to the time of the winter solstice. So the major arcana cards are the soul learning or karma cards. And the minor arcana cards are the cards that really represent our free will. So as we have a number of major arcana cards, it shows that there's big soul learning that's occurring at this time, big karmic learning. And although these are lessons that we must pass through, gates of initiations that we must learn, we always have the ability to decide, to choose how we learn the lesson. Are we going to learn it the easy way or the challenging way? So always I have a look at the spread before me, and I'm aware of what suits are predominantly there. I'm aware of any major arcana cards that come up, and of the theme of the colors that come up with it. And so again, we have a lot of major arcana cards, and the card here that is in the present situation is a card that really represents celebrations. And so this showing me, and we are approaching, of course, Christmas. And for those that celebrate Yule, this is a time of celebration. And we must be mindful of that too. And I find that very fitting right now as we're doing this layout, this draw for the winter solstice. And so this is making me mindful that there are reasons to be celebrating at this point in time. And celebrating friendships, celebrating relationships. And if we have the number 3 here, it's also, 3 also represents manifesting. And I see we have another number 3 here too. So manifesting is really a very significant theme here. And so we're taking stock of our relationships, we're taking stock, we're celebrating the relationships that we have. And this makes me feel that there is some really good fortune or good times. And so be mindful of the things that you have to celebrate at this time. And really allow yourself to celebrate them. Now, this energy that's coming here, this card that crosses us, it's not one of my favorite cards. It's something that I always sort of dislike seeing. Now, this it's the 5 of Swords, and the 5 is a turning point, as it's halfway between 0 and 10. And so whenever we have turning points, whenever we have changes, there is turbulence. And we can see that turbulence being depicted by these storm clouds that are coming in. And this particular individual looks a little bit haughty there. He's looking back on some individuals with their backs turned. And the swords always represent mental energy, represents conflict. And we would understand that most of our conflict really begins in the mind. And so this card speaks about being mindful of biting off your nose to spite your face, to use a saying to illustrate it well. So really being mindful of having diplomacy and being mindful of what battles are you choosing to have at this time. This card speaks about being mindful of, that saying, lose the battle but win the war. So be mindful of what battles that you engage upon, and is it necessary? And again, we have this change, we have this fluctuation. We know that this strife is being caused by really conflicts in the mind, and being mindful of that. So this is the energy that's coming in. So just be very cognizant of any kinds of strife or conflicts that you have that may be moving in. Holidays do bring a lot of conflict. That's just, I feel, the nature of the beast. So, and being mindful of any diplomacy that you should be utilizing, and just know that diplomacy and tact is very important. Now, at the basis of this whole spread, at the foundation, we do have a card that represents our wishes coming true. And so that really shows me that we've had some good fortunes. We've had good fortunes that have been sort of on the foundation of this. And this also is making me, so the solstice is all about reflection. It's all about taking that pause, taking that time to reflect upon ourselves and our lives. And this is making me mindful that there really have been some wishes that have come to fruition. And so this has really supported the whole layout here. And as we go to the recent past, again, we have another sword card. But this card here, it represents a victory and achievements and a new direction. And swords they cut both ways. They cut to the truth, and they can cut away things that are no longer serving us. And this is just of the recent past, and it ties in here to this card that is representing our future, which is all about success and victory. So this shows me that there is indeed a new direction that's coming, and new success and new victory. And as this is just the beginning part, you may have been experiencing, again, this is the turning point. This is the strife that we can sometimes feel, but I'm seeing success, and I see here this card that represents victory and success. But what is important here is knowing how to be able to harness our energy and to be able to really be able to focus our energy for our success. So there's a certain amount of inner work that needs to be done here. This is a major arcana card, and this speaks about being aware. Again, it's kind of funny because this is for the solstice, and we have the sphinxes here, the light and the dark, and harnessing those energies within. And the solstice is all about balancing the light and the dark. But this shows me that there will be success, there will be victory. And this fellow here that's in charge, that's in the chariot, his heart chakra is very, very opened. And so be mindful of keeping your heart open. Be mindful of allowing your heart chakra to be open and expand, and to be able to really harness those inner energies within, to be able to pull yourself in the direction that you want to go. Now, as we look at this card here that oversees everything, and this is where your focuses may be, where your focus may lay, where your intentions may lay. And so this shows me that really overseeing everything, there is a new beginning. And with every new beginnings, we have this excitement, we have this yearning, and we can often sort of set out with just really great, wonderful ambitions, but we may not always be watching where we're going. And so just to be mindful of that to be aware of the journey that you're on, and being aware of the steps that you're taking, to take really good stock of that. And we have the sun that's shining down upon us, and we can see a lot of the yellow here in these cards. And so this makes me feel, and the blue, this makes you feel that this is a time for success and for having that sunny optimism, which again makes you feel it really ties in with the winter solstice here. Now, this card here, the Magician, it really is a wonderful card we have. And again, another major arcana card. And he really represents being able to harness our own energies to be able to manifest and to be able to focus those energies. It kind of combines with this, but this is more in the sort of the seed phase. But what's significant about this is that the position of this card is that we're not really fully connecting with our abilities to be able to manifest, to be able to use all of our capabilities to be able to bring about the change that we want to have. And so this is making me very aware that it is time to be able to really use all of your abilities, all of the tools that you have to be able to bring about your desired change, because we're not fully connecting with the inner resources that we have. There may be also another individual that will assist you with being able to bring this change about. So oftentimes the people that are in our lives are helping to be able to align the energy that we want to have within us. And it's like that ancient axiom, as within, so without. So sometimes we may have individuals in our life that this may represent. This is the magician, and this is really bringing about being the authority that you can be, and using all of your inner resources to bring about the desired change that you have. Now, in this particular position here, we have the Justice card, and again, another karmic card. And Justice, she's not one of my favorite ones, but she is a very fair, balanced, and true. And so this is representing the environment that you're in and how others are perhaps viewing your current situation. So we have the scales here of justice that are balanced, and we have, again, another sword. So swords are pretty significant. But this sword is about bringing truth to the situation. And so the reason why I don't always like this is because it means that it doesn't necessarily go our way, but it goes the way that it's meant to be. So this is really very much about karma balancing itself and being a just and righteous outcome. So in this particular position, it makes me feel, and as I'm looking at the rest of the spread, it makes me feel that there will indeed be a very just and desired outcome, that the scales are going to be balanced. And again, this is a karmic card, and it's all about the soul lessons that we are experiencing. So sometimes the things that we're wishing for, that justice will bring us the things that we need, or the right outcome here. Now, as we move on here to our hopes and our fears in this particular position, we have an individual. Again, it's all about success and victory and really winning the situation here. And so there's a part of us that is fearful that this will not be the outcome. But I love this card because it always heralds good fortune. And when I look at the outcome here, I'm seeing that, again, there may be another person that plays a part in this outcome, but I'm seeing a sense of confidence and assurance and achieving our desired outcome for the wishes that we have. And these cards that I have here to help clarify this whole spread, again, we have two major arcana cards, which is all about our soul lessons that we must go through. And we have the Empress and the Moon. Now, the Empress, she's lovely. She represents having abundance and it's all about, it really is good fortune here. And we have the Moon. And the Moon is about following our intuition and our psychic awareness, really being mindful of our dreams, of our intuition, of our inner guidance. And there may be a move here There may be a move, but certainly things are coming to the surface as it's emerging from the waters, from the depths of our subconscious, to be aware that things are not quite as they seem right now, and that the truth will be emerging and the bigger picture will be emerging, and we will have a greater sense of clarity. But follow your intuition. Really be mindful of the intuition of the guidance that you're getting. And so overall, I feel that this is a really very positive layout here for the winter solstice. And it really, to me, lines up very significantly with the concept of light and dark and balancing out, and the promise of rebirth, the promise of a new journey, the promise of having another day to walk, to having another day to be able to spread our light and to be able to enjoy this experience here on earth. So again, we have a lot of karmic cards here, and so I know that for those that are watching at this time, that there's been really big changes going on. And let's face it, with the last 2 years with COVID, it's been a huge time of change. And it has been a period of time of reconciliation. It has been a time of deep reflection. But for us to take stock of things that we have to celebrate, take stock of the wishes that have come true for us, take stock of that what we've wished for and have achieved. And to know that we have some new beginnings here, that we will be able to really harness our own inner forces, our own inner abilities. We have that ability to be able to manifest what we want to have and to be able to achieve the success. And so I can see here also in this card and in that card, and represented by the horse, that if you have been wishing to have a move or contemplating about a move, that this will be supported, that it's the right time. It's a good time to bring about a birth of new things, and so this may be a literal birth, or it may be representative of a birth of a project or of a birth of something new. And again, that's supported here. So we're looking at really a brighter journey ahead. Be mindful again of where diplomacy and tact are needed in order to be able to prevail. Be mindful that there may be, with this change coming in, there may be feeling like a little bit of a turbulence, but know not to bite off your nose to spite your face. But we have a very sunny outlook here. And again, I find it really very interesting that this is for the solstice, which is all about the promise of light returning to the earth. And I hope that you're able to connect with this promise that I'm seeing pictured before me. So success on your new journey, success on what you've planned out for yourself. There's some inner work that needs to be done in order to be able to manifest and bring about the change, that there will be a rightful outcome, a good balance, that the scales are not weighed against you. And to be mindful that there may be people that are also playing a part of the role to be able to help bring about this change and support you. Be aware of those inner guidance of your intuition. Be aware of any dreams or flashes of insight that you may have, because it is guiding you. And things are not quite as they seem right now at this time. So I hope that you've enjoyed this particular layout that I've done for the winter solstice, and I hope that you've been able to get some guidance or inspiration from it. If you've enjoyed or have any questions, please do leave a comment down below. And I thank you very much for watching. And I wish you a very, very happy winter solstice. And I wish you all very many blessings. And may you walk with spirit. Bye for now.